Hey, do you have a minute? Welcome back to the podcast, y'all. This episode is a little bit different because it's just me today. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking and hitting on a lot of things about things that I would tell my younger self, just life lessons and everything that I have learned and that I still am learning, that I wish that I could go back in time and implement those things into myself. Because as y'all know, like your 18s, 19s, 20s, and then beyond 20s, it's a ride. Like life is a ride. You go through so many different experiences. You go through so much maturing and so much growth, and you learn so much. I feel like the things that I'm learning right now is like kind of like healing childhood things. Like, it's healing childhood Siani. And it's just things that maybe if I would have known maybe a couple years ago, life would have been a little bit different. So to anybody who need some big sister advice, need some advice from somebody. I'm 21. I don't look that old, but it's not that old. To my younger people, I don't look that old, but I'm 21, and yeah, I got some wisdom to give y'all. So we're gonna hop right in. The first question is, what would you tell your younger self about self-love and accepting who you are? Wow. It's so crazy because right now, I feel like I'm at a stage where I'm really learning the importance of self-love. Growing up, especially in the era that I grew up in, social media, I feel like just started booming. Growing up in that area, it's like everything was really about validation. I feel like Woman Crush Wednesdays, Man Crush Monday, raids, to be honest, to be rude, like those were popping when I was a kid. Facebook was popping when I was growing up. So when you're on social media and you see a whole bunch of people that's glorified and that's like, put on this pedestal and they don't look like you, it can kind of be a shot at like your security and how you feel about yourself. So when it comes to like self-love, I would just tell myself that like self-love is the most important form of love. Doesn't matter how much anybody else loves you. If you don't love yourself, you'll never be fulfilled in life. And that's real. And that's something that I'm learning right now, and I'm still learning it. So it's not like it's just like I learned that and I'm able to just go about my life. No, I'm still learning that. It's the most important form of love. When it comes to who you are and accepting who you are, God didn't make no mistakes when he made you. So you don't got to turn around and try to be different or be who anybody else wants you to be, because he made no mistakes. He made you exactly how you needed to be made. The trials and tribulations and everything that you go through in life all shape and mold you into the person that you are, into the person that you're going to be in people's lives in the future. So accept the good, accept the bad. Don't try so badly to change who you are at your core. You can change some traits, you can change some habits, you can change your appearance a little bit just to to grow, because we always trying to grow, we always trying to elevate, but don't change who you are at your core. Don't change your like who your soul is. Don't change that. What advice would you give yourself about handling criticism or negative opinions from others? This is so good. Oh my gosh, because I'm like the perfect person to answer this question. Younger Siani care so much about what people thought. Like when I tell you, like people's opinions lived rent free in my head. Like when I say rent free, I mean rent free. Like they paid nothing. They paid nothing. When it comes to criticism and when it comes to other people's opinions, that's just that. Constructive criticism is always good. It's always good to hear where you went wrong with things. But when it comes to criticism and negative opinions, for one, about your appearance, take that with a grain of salt. A lot of times people's hearts don't be in the right place. You gotta really watch out who you getting advice from, who you listening to, and whose thoughts you're internalizing. Because a lot of people's hearts really don't be in the right place. A lot of people be saying things to people to bring people down, to make them feel better about themselves. Sometimes people, they're not cautious with their words. They're not cautious with how they speak to people. And that's dangerous, because what you say to somebody, you don't know how that sticks to a person. You don't know how that changes the course of somebody's life. Like our tongues are sharp. Your tongue is really a weapon. So use it in a positive way. That's to the people who out here giving bad opinions and giving negative criticism. But to the people that's receiving it, take it with a grain of salt. You're not gonna be everybody cup of tea. That's what I'm learning now. You're not gonna be everybody cup of tea. Everybody not gonna like how you dress, how you walk, how you look, how you talk. Everybody not gonna like that. That's okay though. Like that's completely fine. You don't have to live your life to the standards of nobody else. Be authentic, be you. If you like it, do it. I could go on and on about that because a lot of times when it comes to insecurities, you don't even have an insecurity until somebody points something out. I remember when I was a little bit younger, I let somebody do a to be rude, right? They gave me a to be rude. This girl gonna say to me, to be rude, you gotta pick those. What? That lived with me forever. Like when I tell y'all forever, like I ain't never thought my nose was big, like ever. Like when I say ever, I mean ever. Like that was just never nothing that like went through my head, like never. And she said that, and I started to become real self conscious about my nose, like real self conscious. When I was doing my makeup, I would do my makeup to really like slim my nose out, because I'm like, dang, do I really got a pig nose? But it's like, girl, you thought you ate that. She ate that a little bit because you did mess with my confidence. So you did what you wanted to do. You ate that a little bit. But first of all, I should never been seeking for nobody to be rude to me. So that's where I went wrong. And also just letting her opinion carry so much weight in my life that like even now, like that was a couple years ago. I remember that vividly because I wanted to curse that girl out. Like I was mad salty when she said that because I'm like, I'm in the mirror like what? Like I'm looking at I'm like, what? Like I'm like what? Like I was mad salty. But you know, don't let nobody's opinions become your reality. Your opinion should be your only reality. Like, if you could go back, what would you say to your younger self about chasing your dreams and taking risks? If I could go back, I would tell my younger self to make your dreams, and only your dreams. When I was younger, people who I looked up to, the people who I would aspire to be like, what they dreams were, I felt like I would kind of like pull those in and make those my dreams and make those what I wanted to do in life. And it really wasn't my dreams. Like, so when it comes to like following your dreams, I would say dig deep and figure out who you are, what you like at your core, what excites you, what makes you go hard, what motivates you. Find that dream and don't let up on it. I let up on so many dreams in my life because other people told me that they weren't attainable. When I was younger, I wanted to be a pediatrician, right? Set on that. When I say set on that, set on that. So many people would come to me and say, "Oh, that's so many years of school." Now, mind you, I always did well in school, but I never liked school. Like, I never liked school. I feel like part of the reason I didn't like school was just because the schools that I went to and, like, the culture and, like, the social aspect. And then also, I felt like the teachers didn't really care. So it was just a lot. Like, I feel like school just exposed me to so much, and I just really never cared for it. I never liked school. But when people will highlight that, like, oh, if you want to be a pediatrician, you have to go to school for mad years. It's not going to pay off until autumn years after school. Like, that's the only thing that people kept saying to me in my head, in my head, in my head. And slowly I started saying to myself, like, dang, I don't want to go to school that long. I want to get out of school or go to college for a couple years, boom, start making money. That discouraged me from chasing that dream and that goal that I had. Also, when it comes to what did I want to do when I was younger? What did I really want to do when I was younger? I think I wanted to be a model. I wanted to be a model because my god sister was a model. That really became something that I really want to do at my core. Like that was really something, and I'm not gonna say was because that really still is very much something that I want to do. But I didn't really pursue it that much because I didn't feel like I had the support. So when it comes to like, your dreams and your goals, go hard about them. Nobody gonna put as much effort or as much time, as much dedication into your stuff that you're going to do. Don't feel like you reaching too high. Anything's achievable. All the people who are billionaires and trillionaires and got these companies and are rich and maybe they're actors. Elon Musk, what do he own? Tesla. All these freaking entrepreneurs, they started off, most of them, as normal people. Somebody had to start off as a normal person to build a family up. All these Nepo babies that you see, right? Somebody had to start from a normal person with high aspirations and high dreams and high goals. They had to start. So don't feel like your dreams are out of reach and that you can't go hard and you can't do what you want to do. Like, you can do anything that you want to do. Just make sure that you really strive for that. And then it does not become a fairy tale. Go hard about it. Be consistent at it. Work hard every day. Hard work pays off. Hard work pays off. Everybody wants to be lazy nowadays. No, hard work. Work, work, work. Grind and work your butt off. Like, hard work pays off. Period. That's a little tangent, but to all my younger people out there, chase your goals and work hard at them. Don't just expect nothing to fall into your lap, because now you're just looking for a miracle at this point. Work hard. When you work hard, it's gonna feel better because you really got that. Like, you really grinded. You really got that from the muscle. Like, from the muscle. Like, work hard, y'all. What would you tell your younger self about the importance of setting boundaries in relationships? I'm sorry. I know that was just loud in your ear. And it says in relationships, and then it's like friendships, family, and romantic relationships. So I'm gonna start with friendships because I've had my fair share of friendships. I've had my fair share of up and downs with friendships. What I would tell my younger self about boundaries and friendships is people put so much on friendships. They feel like in friendships they don't have to be no boundaries, right? They feel like, and I'm gonna say me as well, because my younger self, like, you feel like all friendships should be an open book and that you can just kind of slide past and maneuver around stuff, right? Something rub you the wrong way, you don't want to have a confrontation, so maybe you just letting stuff slide. That was my case. I was just letting stuff slide. I was feeling some type of way about stuff and, not speaking up on it. And that builds up resentment, whether you want to say it or not. That does. It builds up resentment because it's like, dang, why do you keep making me feel this way? And me being a little bit younger, I was either very confrontational or non-confrontational. And with my friends, I never wanted to be very confrontational because I used to crash out. If we had the confrontational, it's given like we about to fight, right? I never wanted to get like that with my friends. So to bypass that, I wouldn't be confrontational at all, because I'm like, if I speak up and I say something and you like come at me a certain type of way, I'm going to hate it, but I'm going to have to take it there with you. And I never want to take it there under my friends. So I let it slide. I let stuff slide. I let the weird stuff, I let the stuff that, like, got under my skin that made me feel some way, I let it slide. And then it's like over and over, time and time again, until I'm like, dang, I don't even really care about this friendship because I don't feel like you care about me. And I don't feel like you care about me because I feel like you playing with me and you playing with my emotions and you doing all this, but it was because there was a lack of boundaries. Because I wasn't open enough to, communicate my feelings effectively, there was no boundaries. And when you don't got no boundaries with somebody, nobody don't know how to treat you if you don't have boundaries. They're going to treat you however they think they should treat you. They're going to treat you however it has been working for them to treat you if you don't set boundaries. And it may be an uncomfortable conversation, but it's real though. It's real. You got to have boundaries with everybody. If you don't got no boundaries with nobody, then anybody can treat you however you want to, and you can't say nothing because you didn't set a boundary that says, hey, this is how I expect to be treated in this relationship that we have, So that's my little spiel on friendships. I'm gonna do family last because, woo, baby. Romantic relationships with boundaries. Yeah. To younger Siani, I would tell myself to have emotional boundaries. I feel like I didn't have any emotional boundaries with romantic partners, like, people that I was dating prior to my relationship. Now, I didn't have any boundaries. Emotionally, I feel like my emotions were tugged at, they were played with. I felt some way about stuff. And I didn't really speak up because I didn't want to do too much. And I feel like a lot of young girls can relate to that, where it's like, like, you don't want to do too much, especially when it's like situationship vibes, especially when it's not set in stone in the situationship. Those are the worst type of relationships to be with. I'm going to tell y'all this right now, to any of my young girls and even to my young boys. If y'all are in a situationship, get out of it. If someone wants to commit to you, they're going to commit to you. You don't need to not know who you are and what weight you hold in somebody's life. If somebody wants to be with you, they're gonna make it clear. They're gonna make it clear. Don't be with nobody who wanna be with you at this point, but really iffy, and go to sleep on the phone with you at night, but then get around their friends and then won't call you, and then you can't trip because you ain't their girl. That's their favorite line. Don't be with nobody like that. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. Be with somebody who chooses you every single time. Be with somebody who is confident and sure that they want you, who shows you day in and day out that they want to be with you. And be that type of person to people as well. Not just saying, oh, that needs to come on the receiving end, but on your end, you could just be nonchalant and whatever. No, be the type of person who shows the person that you really care about them. Like all that toxic stuff, that's dead. I don't know why that's still being preached to the young kids. I don't know, even to my age and even to people a bit older than me, because I know some grown people who be trying to like be nonchalant and do the toxic stuff. It's a mess. It's a mess. That's a mess. I don't even know who started that notion. Stop it. Like, stop it. It's like that's a mess. It's no reason. Be confident and be sure, be decisive about who you want and carry it like that. That's a rampage. Back to boundaries with relationships. Yeah, I would tell myself to not let people play with you. Like, stand on stuff, regardless if you feel like you can't trip because you're not their girl, or you can't trip because of blah 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 and this and the third. No, stand on stuff. Stand on your emotions, because you're the only person who can advocate for your emotions. And if you let somebody play with you, they're gonna keep playing with you. They're gonna do what they want to do to you, and then they're gonna turn around and they're going to, when they decide that they done, and when they decide that they had enough of the jokes and of the games, then they're gonna try to take you seriously. No, have boundaries. Stand firm. If you decide that you want to be treated like this, if this is your love language and you want to be loved in your love language, then say it. Make people stand firm relationship wise. I'm saying people because I don't know who I'm speaking to, but make people stand firm in the fact that if they want you, they're gonna go hard to show you that they want you. Period. And then last but not least, y'all, family. Boundaries with family, y'all. Family is like the hardest people to set boundaries with, because they feel like they're non-existent, right? Like they feel like stuff just does not apply to them. I've had my fair share of having to go at it with family members, because of a lack of respect. And that's really what it comes down to. In a lot of families, there's no respect. And a lot of times it be for the younger people. The older people demand and demand and demand respect, but don't have no respect for the younger people. So what I'm telling y'all is set boundaries and demand the same respect that you give people. You don't have to be disrespectful. There's this notion that you having feelings and you being a human being and having emotions as a child is disrespectful. That's anything but further from the truth. You are a human being with feelings and emotions. You are living life. This is your first time living life just like everybody else's. Stand on who you are. And that may be hard because sometimes people are very like vindictive. Family members can be when they have power, a level of control. It's like, okay, you don't have no boundaries when I do this. You don't have no boundaries when I take care of you. You don't have no boundaries when I feed you. You don't have no boundaries when I pay your phone bill. You don't that is very common. That is very real. But I still say to stand on how you feel. Stand on how you feel. And if you can't have no boundaries when it comes to your family, then work your way up into getting out of there. Because a lot of people go through stuff as an adult because in their family there was no boundaries. There was no boundaries for them as a person. People got to walk over them, treat them however they want to, make them do whatever they want to, make them feel however they want to, be their punching bag emotionally, physically, anything. A lot of people go through that. And if you're going through that, stack your bread. Do what you got to do and get yourself up out of there so that you can have a healthy mental. Don't feel like you just got to stay somewhere where people going to just keep using you and keep like abusing you, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally. You don't have to stay there. Work your way up and get your way out of there so that you can blossom and you can flourish. Like you can be more than that. A lot of people feel like they can't be more than what's going on around them. Like, always remember that you can be more than that. You don't have to stay stuck in that. And don't be scared. You go and meet backlash when you start doing things that's unnormal in your family. You go and get met with backlash when maybe you decide that you're going to be the family member that pop up and leave. And the whole family probably going to feel some way. They're going to feel some way. But it's like, you had to do that for your mental. Nobody judging, nobody blaming you. Everybody got to do what they got to do for themselves in this world. So make sure that you move in for yourself. I'm not saying that to say move in a selfish manner, but make sure that you really invest in yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup. If people is constantly depleting and draining you, you have nothing positive to give back out there. Or you're going to keep filling people up until you have nothing. And then you're going to hit rock bottom. And then that's when the mental things start to happen. Like, that's when mentally, like, depression and all that, that's when that really start to come into play. So choose you. Like, make sure that you choose yourself. You'd rather be at war with the world and at peace with yourself than at peace with the world and war with yourself. Remember that. Looking back, what advice would you give your younger self about dealing with disappointment or rejection? This is actually really funny. When I was younger, I literally got met with, like, first of all, rejection so many times. Because growing up, like I said, when I grew up, social media was just like popping and stuff like that. So growing up, I'm going to talk about rejection on like a level of like when it comes to kids and when it comes to like romance and blah, blah, blah. I was always rejected. Because first of all, I was tall, super skinny. So I was like really lanky. I was dark skinned when I was a kid. Like, I was darker than I am now. Y'all know how people treated the dark skins, like African booty scratcher. Like, I wasn't Rapunzel. Like, I have like a bust down Brazil. Like, I was just a normal black girl. I got met with rejection. Like, people didn't want me. Like, when I was younger, people loved light skinned girls. No shade though. No shade. I'm not hating. I'm not nothing. I just wasn't nobody's cup of tea. They wanted somebody short. I was always tall. I was taller than all the boys, y'all. I was taller than all the boys. And I'm 5'7" right now. I'm not that tall. But I feel like I've kind of stayed the same height my whole life. Like, I don't want to say I was this tall in 4th grade, but I probably was like 5'5". No, 5'5". Yeah, I probably was 5'5". I probably like grew like 2 inches in middle school, but like elementary school, I was tall. Yo, I was tall. So none of the boys wanted to talk to me because I was so tall and I was all the other traits I mentioned. I had a gap. And ain't nothing wrong with gaps. I'm saying this with braces on. Ain't nothing wrong with gaps. Ain't nothing wrong with gaps. People will always pick apart everything that was wrong with me, everything that didn't fit like the societal beauty standard. People would throw that in my face, So I never got my hopes up when it came to like liking boys and like having crushes, because I never felt like boys was going to like me, because they never did. And they always went out their way to like embarrass me. Like, you thought I liked you, huh? Like, that's literally what they gave. So I faced rejection so much. I used to come home from school crying because I used to get bullied by boys in school. It was real. I mean, I got bullied by a girl before, but I fought her. But I got bullied by boys. And then I started becoming the bully. So I would say to not go that way. So how I handled it, younger Siani, I became the bully. It gave, like, if I liked you and you didn't like me, I was bullying you. You're not about to have the chance to make me feel bad, because now I'm about to bully you. Like, so I was just out here bullying kids left and right. Yes, boys though, boys. I wasn't bullying girls. Boys, bullying them. Am I proud of it? No, but they did deserve it. That's my like experience with rejection. So now with disappointment, I was disappointed a lot as a kid. I had high expectations for people, even recently too. High expectations for people, expecting people to pull through and come through for me. How I would pull through and come through for them, expecting people to keep their word and to not go back on their word. And when it didn't happen, it was just like, dang, having to be empathetic to the fact that somebody let me down. That's a lot to swallow. So something that I've, used to cope with that is that if you don't have no expectations of nobody, you can have no disappointments. Whether that's toxic or not, who am I to say? Whether that's a healthy coping mechanism, who am I to say? But that is something that I have came up with. So how I dealt with that is I became hyper independent. You can't discipline me because I'm just going to do it myself anyways. I'm just going to go hard for myself anyways. If you say you're going to do it for me, I'm going to always have a backup plan. I wouldn't say that that's a bad thing, because it's like, at the end of the day, nobody's more in control of your life than you. But I do think that hyper independence does come with a lot of problems. So I'm not going to say just become hyper independent. I would never tell nobody that, because I'm trying to actually unlearn that to a certain degree. But it's hard to when you constantly put in predicaments and positions where you really got to help yourself. Like, you're the only person who can help yourself, you know? So that's definitely how I dealt with that. When it comes to rejection, I'm going to say my advice to younger Siani is to F it. I don't curse no more, so I'm going to say F it. People going to reject you. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Trust and believe everybody comes back around. You be a burnt cookie when you a kid, and now you just an African goddess now that you older. Like, don't stress it. People really be following trends, and it's crazy, you know, following trends, especially when it's crushes and like when it comes to attractiveness and all that. If you're facing rejection like that, that's an illusion. Like, beauty is really in the eye of the beholder. Like, somebody could be looking at me like this girl is hideous, and somebody else can be looking at me like she is the most beautiful person I've ever met. It is really in the eye of the beholder. It is very subjective. Don't take it personal. If somebody doesn't like you, somebody rejects you, do not take it personal. Somebody don't like how you look, do not take it personal. Because you will leave that environment, go to a completely different environment, and be the apple of somebody's eye. So, and then when it comes to rejection with like school, employment, everything, look at everything as any missed opportunity or any rejection as a blessing. That course of path wasn't for you. That's what I would say. I would just use that as motivation, that wasn't for you, and to hop on to the next thing and now figure out what is for you. You're gonna have a million no's before you get a yes, and that's okay, because that yes is just gonna be even more worth it. It's going to feel even better because you got that yes, because you done went through the trials and tribulations of all the no's. So that's what I would say. What would you tell your younger self about managing stress and prioritizing mental health? So younger me and me right now, bad anxiety, always worrying, always stressing, because I grew up really fast. So I always was worried about things that I should have never been worried about. I was always worried about adult issues that I should have never been worried about. I should have never even knew about it, but I did. Not blaming anybody. My brain was always running. I was always stressed. Like, I literally was always stressed as a kid. I'm thinking about financial situations. Like if I hear my parents stressing about money, I'm in first grade stressing about money. I'm in first grade, like, how are we going to get this rent money? Girl, go to school. Like, what you worry about rent money for? Like, you know, I used to stress about things that like had nothing to do with me. And I would say, when it comes to the stress standpoint, that trust God. Honestly, give it to God. Like, give it to God. You stressing about stuff. If you stressing and you worrying, that means that your faith not strong. Because if you say that you're gonna give your issues and your problems and your concerns and your worries to God, and that you believe that He's gonna handle it, then why are you still stressing about it? So when it comes to younger me, I would tell younger me to, like, you know, grow my faith more. Because when you believe that God really gonna take care of you, and He gonna make stuff shake, and you don't gotta worry. When you believe that, it's easier to just let stuff go. It's easier to just be like, you know what, all right, like, I'm gonna put it in His hands. Like, it's in His hands. He gonna handle it for me. I'm not stressing about it. I'm not worried about it, because that worry means that my faith not strong. That worry means that I don't believe that He gonna come through and really do what He said He gonna do. Trust in God. And when it comes to prioritizing your mental health, I'm an advocate for mental health. I've never really talked about this online. I don't really talk about this. But my grandmom, my mom's mom, she did suffer from schizophrenia, and she did have bipolar disorder. So, you know, being young, I was very aware of mental health disorders, illnesses. I was very aware of that. It was real to me. A lot of people, it's like, you talk about, oh, I got depression or whatever as like a kid or whatever like that, but like, you don't really see how somebody who is really like diagnosed with it really lives, and how it really affects people. Like, mental health is very important. Having the right resources is very important. Now, I have had mental health problems. Like my mental health has not always been the best. Shout out to my therapist, y'all. My therapist saved my life. Like that is my girl. That's like my therapist is like my god mom. She's not my therapist no more because I got too old and they had to cut me off. But that's still my girl. Like we still be talking. That's still my girl. But she saved my life because I was really going through it. High school is a time where a lot of people's mental health can really get shot. At that time, my mental health had got shot. And my therapist, she really pulled me out of it. She really pulled me out of some dark times. So don't be ashamed to get a therapist. Don't be ashamed to go to therapy. Find the therapist that's for you. I talked to a lot of people and, they went to therapy, but they didn't like their therapist. The therapist that I got placed with, she was my girl from the jump. I mean, I didn't like her. I don't want to say I didn't like her at first. I didn't like therapy at first. I felt like she was just bothering me. Like I'm just like, I'm in high school trying to hang out with my friends, and now my grandma calling me saying, "Oh, your therapist is coming to come meet you." I'm like, "Girl, I don't need a therapist. I really did need a therapist though, but that's your mind. Like that really be like tricking yourself into thinking. Like I'm like, at first I did not value it. I'm like, girl, like, here she come again. Like here she come again. Now I can't wait till I can't wait to talk to her. Like especially in your 20s, make sure that you have a therapist and make sure you have a strong line of communication with somebody. Make sure because you're going to need it. You're going to need it. But she saved my life. I would recommend anybody to go to therapy, to get therapy, because you need to get those feelings that you don't speak about, the things that you don't say out loud. You need to say them out loud. You need to, because you need to figure out the things that you're just like subconsciously hiding in your brain, how they're really affecting your life. So get a therapist, y'all. Take your mental health seriously. Don't just try to glamorize it and say, "Oh, I'm bipolar, ha ha ha, so cute." Like, "Oh, I just spit on you and now I want to hug you and I'm bipolar." But like you were very conscious and aware of what you did. You did that on purpose. Like, don't do that. It's not funny. Mental health is not funny. People struggle with mental health every single day. It's not funny. Some people can't help it. So if you can help it, then help it. Don't don't glamorize it because it's not nothing funny. It's not. It's real in a lot of people's lives. It's been real in my life. So take it seriously. Make sure that you take care of your mind because when you get older, that's the first thing to go. So make sure that you really take care of yourself and make sure that you really take care of your mind. I just got serious right there because that's a really serious topic. A lot of people lately are losing their lives because they're losing their fight with their mental health, with their depression, with whatever they're going on with their mental health. They are losing the fight. Check on the people that you love and even yourself. Take it seriously. Get the help that you need. I don't want to see people losing their fight to mental health. Like, there's so much life to live. That's a sad way to go out. That is a sad way to go out. And it makes me sad. It really does. It makes me sad. Go hard and really prioritize it. And really make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that you're pulling yourself out of those rough places and those dark spaces that you don't feel like you see any light. Make sure that you're pulling yourself out and make sure that y'all checking in on the people that y'all love too, because y'all don't know who be going through stuff that don't speak about it. That feel like they've been in the dark for a while now and that they're tired of the dark. You don't know. So make sure y'all really checking on the people that y'all love and y'all checking on people's mental because yeah. What would you say to yourself, your younger self, about trusting the timing of your life and being patient with your progress? When I say younger self, I'm talking about myself last week. It's like no, but no, for real though. What I would say to myself is that nothing that comes fast is worth keeping. Trust the progress. Don't try to do these little quick get rich schemes. Stop trying to become a millionaire overnight. Like really put that work in, grind, go hard about your life. And all the work that you put in on the back end, you're gonna receive all of that. All that progress, everything that you worked hard for, you're gonna get rewarded for that. So just make sure that you go hard and not to feel discouraged when the path that you set for yourself becomes shaky or the path that you set for yourself may completely vanish. And now you got to find a completely different path because it's happened to me time and time again. It's happened to me. It just happened to me like freaking last week. Just happened to me. It's okay. Like, life is all about the journey, right? So stop trying to get to the end of the journey so quick. Because then once you get to the end of the journey, if you go from the start to the finish with no journey, then what did you learn? What experiences did you like? What makes the end fulfilling? If you just went from broke to flat out rich with nothing in between, like you was like broke and just one day you just became mad rich. You never had to work for, you never had to nothing. It just fell into your lap. You probably wouldn't know the skills that you would need to know to really maintain that money, right? To invest that money, to really spend it carefully and save it and to do the right stuff with it because you didn't have nothing taking you from that point to this point. You just shot right up there instead of working your way up there, going through trials and tribulations and seeing what you need to do to be able to keep that, like to maintain all that, to make sure that it stays. You keep that wealth. Trust the journey. Trust God's plan. Your plan and his plans are not always going to align, especially if you're moving and your plan is based off of your own will. Y'all plans is never going to align because your will is not his will. And be okay with being redirected and being rerouted and being put on a different path. Be okay with it because you never know what experiences, what connections, the love that you're going to get from the new path that you're placed on. You never know why you're placed on a path. You may solely be just placed on a new path just to find somebody new in your life. And that person in your life could just become the best thing that ever happened to you. Like they could be the person that you was meant to meet. But you had to get knocked off of a path that you was going. Now you meet your lifelong best friend because you decided to just like, all right, you know what, let me go back and just like veer to the right a little bit. And you meet your lifelong best friend who helps you through challenges and the good and the bad. Just is there with you and you just thank God for them every single day. But you would have never met them if you would have stayed on that dead end path. Just trust the journey. If you could give your younger self advice on friendships, what would it be? I have so much advice to give to my younger self. I could honestly make a whole podcast about advice about friendships, but I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because I might make a whole podcast about advice when it comes to friendships. Value your friends, right? If y'all having differences of opinions, talk it out. But also, don't try to rewrite people. If someone shows you who they are, believe them. Don't force people to be in your life. Don't force people to be your friend. Don't force yourself to be anybody else's friend. If y'all not feeling it, if you know that your time is up with somebody, then just dead it. Don't let it get catastrophic. Don't get too comfortable with people. That's how a lot of friendships fade out. People get too comfortable. Be truthful and be honest. I'm not saying you gotta be open book, but be honest and be truthful about how you move and how you act with friendships. Don't lie. Don't try to be sneaky because that all catch up to you. When you lie and you be sneaky, you gotta keep lying and keep being sneaky to maintain the initial lie or the initial sneakiness. Just be truthful. Be yourself, honestly. And don't feel like you gotta dim your light to be around people. Do not feel like you gotta dim your light to be around people. Do not feel like you have to be less of yourself to be around somebody. If you have to be less of yourself to be around somebody, then you don't need to be around them because you need to be 100% yourself at all times. You don't need to water yourself down to be digestible or to fit in with anybody. Be who you are. The people who like who you are and love who you are and cherish who you are, you're going to attract them. You don't have to fight so hard to keep friendships that you know are failing because y'all really don't have nothing in common. But what, being pretty? Y'all don't have much in common. And I'm going to say that too to younger me, that being pretty is not enough to just be friends with somebody. It's not. You have to have common interests. There has to be respect there. If there's no respect, there's no friendship. The friendship is going to fail if there's no respect. That's it. What would you tell your younger self about learning from mistakes and moving forward? I would tell my younger self to not get stuck on them because I'm such an overthinker. Literally, I can almost remember anything. when I say anything, I mean anything. Like any embarrassing, like anything that's embarrassing, any mistake that I made, like I can literally remember it. Like literally, I can remember it. I would tell younger me to not get stuck on it. Like it happens. You need to make mistakes to grow. If you lived your whole life and you didn't make one mistake, there's no chance for correction. There's no choice. There's no chance for redirection. There's no chance to learn a lesson. And you need to learn lessons to grow in life. So if you have no chance at none of these things, then how can you grow? Mistakes are going to be made. I'm about to steal somebody's line. I don't know who said this. I'm about to steal it and make it my own. And I don't even know the right facts. So I'm about to steal it, make it my own, and it might not even be right. But Albert Einstein made 2,000 attempts at the light bulb. You don't hear nobody talk about the 2,000 attempts, the mistakes that he made, because on the 2001st attempt, he made the light bulb. Oh no, he made electricity. He made electricity. People talk about the accomplishment. They don't talk about the mistakes behind the accomplishment. But it took those mistakes for that accomplishment to happen. He didn't just try to make electricity and it just happened overnight. He didn't try it on the first time it happened. No, he made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, but he learned from those mistakes. He learned what not to do. So learn from those mistakes. Learn what not to do. Learn that if you do this, this is going to be the outcome. Learn that if you do this, this is going to be the consequence. Learn so that you can progress and you can better yourself and you can elevate yourself and you can grow. That's the only way that you grow. Is if you fall down. That's the only way that you grow. So be okay with that. Cherish the mistakes that you made because they show you that you're growing. What is one piece of advice you would give your younger self about balancing personal life and career goals? So I've been working since I was 14, y'all. Literally, the day I turned 14, I went to Upper Merion. I went to the high school, got my working papers, went to Chick-fil-A that same day, applied, got an interview that same day, and got hired that same day. Literally. I was on it. Like, I literally was on it. I would leave. I was in middle school. I would leave middle school, get on the bus home. I worked at the one in the mall in King of Prussia. So I would get on the bus home. I would literally have my work clothes on. Like I would, so after school, right? I would go to the bathroom. When the bell rung, go to the bathroom really quick, change into my work clothes. I can see if I can find a picture so I can upload it so I can really show y'all. Like I literally used to leave school, put my work clothes on, get off the school bus, and go straight to the bus stop and go to work. I would tell myself to slow down, honestly, because work always came before everything. I ran track, work kind of came before track. I would leave track practice early to go to work. It's just like I was just working and working and working and working because I was providing for myself, you know? I would tell myself to like slow down in that aspect with me being younger and that you got your whole life to work. Not saying don't work, but you don't gotta work like you got 8 kids. Like I was working every single day. Like I had kids to take care of. Like I didn't have none of that. I was just taking care of myself. Not even 100% taking care of myself, but just buying myself the stuff that I wanted, going to the mall with my friends, whatever like that. I just wanted to have money. So I was working like crazy so I could have money. But now, maybe when I say 18, 17, 18-year-old Siani, you can work and have a social life. Like you literally can. It does not have to be one or the other. Like there is an in between. You can work hard and you can play too. You don't have to feel like you gotta work your life away and then just be in the house all day and then be exhausted. And now you feel like you old and now you feel like you aging yourself because you working so much because you're trying to stack your savings up or you're trying to save and then you're not going out with your friends. So now you feel like you just don't got no social life. And now your life just feel like wake up, work, go to school, wake up, go to school, work, like over and over again. You feel like your life don't got no purpose. No, make sure that you have a healthy balance. Make sure that you work. If you work, but you still make time for your friends. You still make time for your family. You still make time to do things for yourself, to go on solo dates, to go on friendship dates, go on dates with your partner, go out and meet up with your family. Make sure that you still have that social life. Because if you don't, you're going to feel drained. And those are the type of things, those interactions, they pour back into you. when you feel like all your energy got depleted from giving your energy to work and to school and stuff like that, you meet up with your friends, it's like, oh, a breath of fresh air. Let me tell you about my life. Then you could just unload, you can relax, you can enjoy your time. So make sure that you balance it out. It don't have to be one or the other. Oh my gosh, y'all, read the last question. Last question. If you could give one piece of advice about handling pressures from others, what would it be? First of all, if I could give one piece of advice, it would be, unless you work in a high stress job where the pressure is like on you and like you got certain deadlines and stuff like that, when it comes to other people and their pressure, you can decide that it does not affect you, right? Certain circumstances, I want to say. Certain circumstances. That's very circumstantial, but how other people feel like you should live your life, how other people feel like you should move, how other people feel like what you should do, that's their feelings, that's their opinions. You don't have to live to the standard of nobody else but yourself. You may think that you have to. You may feel like, oh no, I have to. I have to go to law school because my dad was a lawyer, my mom was a doctor, or I gotta be a nurse because all my aunts are nurses and all this other stuff. And like you feel like there's that pressure that's like unsaid, but it's very said, or even if it is said, you feel like there's a pressure to be something that maybe you don't really care to be. It just does not have to exist to you, honestly. But you have to get to that point because I'm at a point where I don't care what nobody says. I went to community college, y'all. Everybody done tried to talk me out of it. Go to university, go here, whatever. I do want to say that I feel like I was pressured. I did just choose to go to college because I wanted to get people off my back. Not saying that it was a bad thing, not saying that I regret going to college, but there was a lot of pressure when I was in high school about deciding what I was going to do in my life. And I was just like, hey, like if I just go to college and I go to community, I'm not paying for school. I'm going to school for business. Like, ain't no pressure. Like, right. So I just kind of did that as like a here, like, get out my face. Like, that's basically what I did. But I wouldn't suggest nobody doing that. I would suggest doing what you need to do for yourself. Nobody gonna see the vision. Nobody gonna see the goals. Make sure that you got one now. Because if somebody coming hard on you because you ain't got no goals and you ain't got no motivation and you just want to sit in the house all day and be a couch potato, that's completely different. And I'm not talking to you. And they should be on you. If I'm talking to you right now, they should be on you. But to the people who got a plan and feel like they like living under the scope of like everybody else ideas and their ideology. I'm not about to fake that word. Like y'all know what I'm saying. If y'all don't, I'm gonna find a different word. But under the pressure of like everybody else and like what they expect you to be and what they see life as, you don't have to do that. You don't. You can decide to live your life to the beat of your drum. What makes sense to you does not have to make sense to nobody else. As long as you can supply for yourself, then what makes sense to you don't have to make sense to nobody else. If you want to go to art school and people pressuring you to go to law school or whatever like that, if they're not paying for your tuition, they don't have no right to tell you what to do. If you coming out of pocket and you paying for your stuff, you move to the beat of your own drum because you're gonna be unfulfilled and you're not gonna be happy doing things that other people want you to do. Do what you want yourself to do. When it comes to pressure from society, be who you want to be. You don't have to come on Instagram every day and show up as somebody who you don't want to be. You don't have to fake it till you make it. You don't have to do none of that. Be who you want to be. Period. Wear what you want to wear your hair how you want to wear it. There is no pressure. It is fake. It is not real. And I'm talking about societal pressure. It is not real. It is not. You don't have to be a millionaire at 18. You don't have to have a business that has 6 figures. If you do hair, you do not have to make 6 figures in a year. Like that is fake pressure. Social media is so fake. It's so fake. It makes everybody think that they have to be attaining to something. They have to be like they have to attain to this level because this is the first time in the world that we're seeing millions of people and their life broadcasted in front of us. So you're seeing all these people who are outliers. Don't think that because maybe you've seen 20, maybe even 100 posts of somebody saying that they are 16 making six figures, that's the normal. Y'all know how many people are on this planet? Y'all know how many 16-year-olds are making six figures? Maybe those 100 people that you saw on TikTok. Maybe. It's not, they're outliers. Get into your numbers so that y'all know, because those are outliers. They're not the mean, they're not the median, they're outliers. So stop using outliers in your data sheet to make you think that you should be making a certain amount of money. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. They make that because of whatever cause, maybe whatever hard work that they have put in, but they're an outlier. That is not, they're not the normal statistic. That is not normal. I don't know much adults who are making that much money. So you're 16 thinking that you should be making six figures, but most adults probably don't make six figures. Your parents probably don't even make six figures. They probably make five, which is okay. Be real. Like, be real. Stop letting social media brainwash you. Stop letting social media make you feel like you are less than, that you have to be this type of way, that you have to live life like this. And by age 21, you got to live in a condo and have a Benz, and you got to have a 2-bedroom condo, by the way, high rise. You got to have a content room. You got to be making 13K a month off of TikTok. You got to be having a clothing business. You got to have 18 Chanel bags in the closet. You better have an Hermes bag. You better have a Birkin. Stop letting these TikTokers and social media influence you and make you feel like you are less than yourself because you're not there. They're outliers. It's unreal. It's unreal. It's like it's unreal. Remember that. Like, I don't even know what else to say. Like, remember that. You got your whole life to do that. Don't feel less than or less of yourself because you're not doing it right now. That was a really long tangent, but that's really something that I'm really passionate about. When I say I'm really passionate about that. Because social media lies to you. It is a facade. You know how many people I know in real life on social media are super rich in real life are asking for Uber money? I'm not saying that to downgrade them, to belittle them. I'm not. I'm saying that to be real. I don't have to be living this glamorous and high fashion lifestyle. You don't have to because you think that that's normal because people on social media are doing it. Some people on social media be scamming. And they can only scam clothes. That's why they always got clothes. I'm not saying that everybody can only scam clothes. Some people can only scam clothes. That's why they got the most expensive clothes and no money. So stop being brainwashed by social media. Be yourself, be authentic, and don't let this fake societal pressure make you think that you are less than or that you are not worth or just make you feel less than of yourself. You are exactly where you're supposed to be at. If you were supposed to be anywhere else, you would be there. You're not there because you're not supposed to be there. Point blank, period. I'm passionate about that. So, yes, I got hype, but I'm passionate about it. So, whatever. In conclusion, though, looking back, there's a lot that I would tell my younger self. There's just a lot of lessons that I've learned in life and a lot of wisdom that I have now that I wish I had at that younger age. But me having it now, I'm able to look back at my life and I'm able to learn lessons from younger me. Like, I'm able to look at the experiences and the things that I went through in the past, and I'm able to pull a lesson out of that because I have that wisdom and I have that discernment. I hope y'all really enjoyed this episode. Let me know if y'all enjoyed this episode. Let me know if y'all want me to get up here and talk and rant because I be talking like I don't know how long this episode is. This episode probably gonna be like 50 minutes, y'all. I don't know how long this episode gonna be because I was just on here talking and yapping. I just be talking and yapping. I love talking and yapping. Give me a topic, I'm gonna talk and I'm gonna yap. So let me know if y'all enjoyed this episode and stay tuned because I got a special episode coming up. Shooting it on Halloween. So it's going to be cute. It's going to be very spooky, very cute. And it should be coming out a little bit after that. So just make sure that y'all stay tuned and make sure that y'all, reach out to me. Stay keep up. Like I want to hear from y'all. I want to hear what y'all want me to talk about. I want to hear if y'all want to come on here. But I'm gonna be real when I say this though. I'm gonna really be real when I say this. If y'all want to come on here, it's not just to come on here to be on a podcast. If you want to come on here, it's because you really got something to say. Because I'm on here empowering. I'm on here putting that word out, giving the word to the youth, to
the young people who really need that. So if you're gonna come on here, just make sure that it's for the right reasons. But I'm not against nobody coming on here. Come on here. I do prefer younger people though. Nope, not biased or nothing like that. But I do prefer younger people because it's like we done heard from the older folks, you know. We didn't like we've been listening to them our whole life. Now it's time for the younger people to take charge. It's time for the younger people to listen to the younger people. Cause you know, I'm 21. Our age group, like my age group right now, we the people who the younger kids looking up to. So it's time for us to get on here and for us to start speaking and for us to start lifting them up and motivating them. So, you know, I'm really happy about this episode. Stay tuned for more and just thank y'all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I hope that y'all enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoy sitting here and rambling on. So thank y'all so much and enjoy your day.